Wish you a very good morning, students. How are you? Are you well? Very good. We have discussed a few modal verbs already in the previous videos, and today I am going to discuss a new modal, and the next modal verb should. Where do we use should as a modal verb? First of all, you have to understand the difference between the meaning of should and must. Should and must, there is a clear-cut difference. Must is stronger than should as a modal verb. Either it is an obligation or it is a duty. Should is used for duty, responsibility, advice, mild command, not a strong command, moral obligation, and expectation. When we shall discuss the examples of these categories, you will be able to understand the concept of should. Where do we use should as a special verb, as a modal verb? As I have told you about the features of modals or modal verbs, that they are always used before a main verb. But there is an example, there is a category where these modal verbs are used without main verbs. Can you tell me where? Yes, these modal verbs are used without main verbs in question tags. Do you know about question tags? Okay, in question tags we use these modal verbs without the help of main verbs. But here should is used to express duty. For example, one should obey one's elders. This is the duty of everyone. Here one means everyone, all. One should obey one's elders. One should do one's duty. इसको कई बार प्रोनाउन के केस में भी पूछा जाता है. यहां पर ब्लैंक दे दिया जाता है. Fill in the blank with a suitable pronoun. One should do, one should obey one's elders. This possessive pronoun always agrees with the subject pronoun. One should obey one's elders. He should obey his elders. She should obey her elders. They should obey their elders. In the same way, one should obey one's elders. One should do one's duty. So, here the modal verb should is used before the main verb obey to express the duty. Next example is, we use should to express the responsibility in a sentence. For example, you should take care of your bag. Let us suppose we are traveling by a bus or traveling by a train. Then there is a line written in the bus, you should take care of your own luggage. Nobody else. You are responsible to take care of your luggage. So we use should to express the responsibility of yourself. Next is advice. But this is not a strong advice. You should work hard. It is an advice for you that you should work hard. This is the main verb, and should is used here as a modal verb. And the next is a mild command, not a strong command, because for a strong command we use some other modal verb. That's why here, if the sentence expresses a mild command, then we use should. You should complete your homework every day. यहां पर should का मतलब है बहुत जरूरी नहीं है, बहुत आवश्यक नहीं है, या कोई स्ट्रॉन्ग कमांड आपके लिए नहीं है, बट इट्स योर ड्यूटी. It's a mild command. You should complete your homework every day. It's your duty. Next is moral obligation. Where do we use should? We use should to express the moral obligation of someone in a sentence. For example, you should obey your parents. You should obey your parents. In this way, we use obligation. For obligation, we use should. You should obey your parents. It's not a strong command, but it's your moral duty. It's your moral obligation to obey your parents. The next is expectation. If we expect something from someone, then we use should. For example, the rich should help the poor. We expect this help for the poor from the rich or by the rich. It means the rich should help the poor. The rich should help the poor. This is our expectation. And the next is, this is the one group of sentences in which should is used for duty, responsibility, advice, mild command, moral obligation, and expectation. You have to write at least 2 sentences of each category to have a good command over the use of should as a modal verb. And the next is condition. In case of condition, and this is the most important type of sentence, it is usually asked in all the exams, because when the condition is there, work hard. What is work hard? This is a verb and this is a phrase, work hard. Then we use lest. You should fail. This is another clause. Here, lest, the word lest is a conjunction which joins 2 clauses. This lest is working as a conjunction in this sentence which is joining these 2 clauses. And there is a condition. If you work hard, you will pass. And its reverse is, advice is work hard. Lest nahi to you will fail. You should fail. It means always remember these 2 words, lest and should. Every sentence that have the conjunction lest, all the sentences that have the word or the conjunction lest, you should fill in should with lest. आप ये भी कह सकते हैं कि lest और should की आपस में दोस्ती है, they live together, इकट्ठे रहते हैं. Usually this type of sentences are asked in all the examinations. Next is purpose. To express the purpose, you should use should. For example, I taught them. Why did I teach them? I taught them so that they should pass. I taught them so that they should pass. They should pass means they might pass. That's why we use should to express a purpose. And the next is advice. What type of advice? Advice which have to be followed in the past, but you didn't follow. Let us take 2 examples. He should have gone by the flight. मान लीजिए किसी को कहीं जाना है और वहां वो समय पर नहीं पहुंचा. For example, somebody had to go to take an entrance exam or a competitive exam, but he traveled by train and he got late and he could not appear in the examination. At that time, when he comes back, we can advise him, you should have gone by the flight. You should have, but you didn't. or he should have gone by the flight but he didn't. And the next sentence is he should have paid the bills but he didn't. ये इसका मीनिंग है, यहां लिखा नहीं होता, दिस इज द मीनिंग. ही शुड हैव पेड द बिल्स, उसे बिल्स पे कर देने चाहिए थे, बट वी आर एडवाइजिंग हिम आफ्टर व्हेन वी केम टू नो दैट ही डिडंट पे हिज बिल्स. ऐसे कंडीशन में भी हम शुड का यूज करते हैं. एंड द लास्ट इज प्रोबेबिलिटी. व्हेन समथिंग इज प्रोबेबल, अगर किसी चीज की प्रोबेबिलिटी हो, फॉर एग्जाम्पल आई नो दैट माई फ्रेंड गोज टू लाइब्रेरी इन द इवनिंग डेली एंड somebody asks me where is your friend, then I can say him, because the probability of my friend's location is the library itself, then I can say he should be in the library now. And the next is indirect speech. When in a direct speech shall is used, then when we change it into indirect or reported speech, we shall change shall into should. Next is would. We shall discuss the use of would after the use of should as modal verb. Thank you very much. Dear students, a very good morning. How are you? Are you well? Okay, good. We are discussing the use of modal verbs in the series of modal verbs. And today we are going to discuss the use of would. Would is the past form of will. And where do we use would? Let us discuss a few points where we use would as a modal verb. First of all, we use would to make polite requests. For more polite requests, we use would. अगर हमें किसी से बहुत ही ज्यादा विनम्र भाव से रिक्वेस्ट करनी है, कुछ लेने के लिए या टू आस्क समवन टू डू समथिंग, कुछ करवाने के लिए, तो हम वुड का यूज करेंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, वुड यू प्लीज रिपीट अगेन. एक टीचर हमें पढ़ा रहे हैं या हमें किसी की कोई बात सुननी है और वो हमें अच्छे से सुनाई नहीं दी, तो हम उससे बहुत ही पोलाइटली कह सकते हैं, वुड यू प्लीज रिपीट अगेन. क्या आप एक बार पुनः रिपीट कर देंगे, पुनः इस बात को बोल देंगे. वी आर मेकिंग ए पोलाइट रिक्वेस्ट. नेक्स्ट एग्जाम्पल, वुड यू लैंड मी योर कार प्लीज, मीन्स मुझे किसी बहुत ही जरूरी कार्य के लिए गाड़ी चाहिए. आई हैव टू गो टू हॉस्पिटल and it's very urgent work, then I would have to make a polite request to the owner of the car and I will say, would you lend me your car please? If I say politely, he will lend his car definitely. In this way, to make polite requests, we use would. And its next use is willingness or wish. If I wish for something, or willingness, if I want to know the willingness or wish of someone other, then I will use would as a modal verb. Let us take an example. Would you sing a song? There is a program, there is a party, and I ask someone, I want to know the wish or willingness of someone other. And I ask him, would you sing a song? क्या आप एक गीत गाना चाहते हैं? Would you sing a song? I want to know the wish of that person. Next is, would you like to have a cup of tea? If someone comes to my house and I ask him, would you like to have a cup of tea? Would you like to have a glass of water? In this way, would, like, when there is the word like and we want to know the wish or willingness of someone, then we shall use would with like. Would, would, would. In this way, we use would to know the willingness or wish of someone. One more thing is there, if wish is not others, if it's my wish, then also I shall use would to express my wish for someone other. For example, I am a stage secretary and I want to invite the chief guest on the stage. Then how should I invite him? I will invite him by saying, I would like to invite the chief guest, Sri so and so, on the stage, please. I would like to invite him on the stage. Means it's my wish. It's the wish of the audience. In this way, we use would. Next is preference. Would plus rather. If I want to prefer one thing to another, in case of preference, there are two actions, there are two activities. If I want to prefer one activity to the other activity, then I shall use would. For example, I would rather die than beg. Rather than. Always keep in mind the use of rather than. There are two actions. One action is to die and other action is to beg. Which action would I prefer? I would rather die than beg. मैं भीख मांगने से तो अच्छा है कि मर जाऊं, अर्थात भीख मांगने की अपेक्षा मैं मर जाना पसंद करूंगा. I would rather die than beg. In this way, I use would as a modal verb. And the next sentence is conditional sentences. There are 4 types of conditional sentences: zero conditional, first conditional, second conditional, third conditional. Here, in case of third conditional or second conditional, we use would as a modal verb. For example, let us take 2 examples. First is, if I had wings, यदि मेरे पंख होते. This conditional sentence is totally unreal situation. It is not possible. एक आदमी कहता है यदि मेरे पंख होते. It's unreal condition. If I had wings, what is this had here? After subject, it means this is main verb here. If I had wings, and it's to V2, simple past tense. If I had wings, I would fly. V1 fly and would is used as a modal verb here. यदि मेरे पंख होते तो मैं उड़ता. Next is, if he had visited me. Here this had is not a main verb as in the previous sentence, because here visited is the main verb, V3. It means it has been used as a helping verb here. If he had visited me, this is one clause of this sentence. I would have helped him. This is the structure of third conditional sentence. If in the first clause there is had plus V3, then we shall use would have plus V3 in the next clause of the sentence. If I had wings, it means V2 in the first clause, then we shall use would plus V1 in the second clause. हो सकता है आपको यहां थोड़ा सा कंफ्यूजन हो. इसके लिए हम कंडीशनल सेंटेंसेस का टॉपिक अलग से भी डिस्कस करेंगे, जिस पर हम 1 by 1 सेंटेंसेस को लेकर आपको प्रत्येक सेंटेंस का, प्रत्येक कंडीशनल सेंटेंस का कॉन्सेप्ट अच्छे से समझाएंगे. यहां आप केवल इतना देखिए कि यदि ये कंडीशनल सेंटेंस हो तो हम नेक्स्ट क्लॉज में वुड एज ए मॉडल वर्ब यूज करेंगे. नेक्स्ट इज इनडायरेक्ट स्पीच. एज यू नो, if we use will or simple future tense in the direct speech, then while changing it into indirect speech, we shall change will into would. For example, she told me that. यहां पर इस that conjunction से और removal of inverted commas से हमें पता चलता है कि ये एक indirect speech sentence है. इसमें हम विल के स्थान पर वुड का यूज करेंगे। अब इसको आप एक्सपेक्ट कीजिए, देखिए कि ये डायरेक्ट स्पीच में क्या था। शी सेड टू मी आई शैल गो टू जयपुर, and to change it into indirect speech we shall change that particular word shall which was used with I. Now I shall use would with third person pronoun she. She told me that she would go to Jaipur. In this way, in indirect speech we use would in place of will. And the next is past activity. First, for a past habit or past action, we use would. We also use for a past action used to. Let's take an example. Gandhiji would spin for a long time every day. Gandhiji, as we know, Gandhiji had died in 1948. Now he is not alive, and we are talking about the same Mahatma Gandhiji. Gandhiji would spin for a long time every day. Spinning is habit and habit of past. We shall use would to express a past activity or past habit of someone. And the last is to express the strong desire, a strong will, a strong wish. I wish you would fight this election. मेरी इच्छा है कि आप इस चुनाव में भाग लें, इस चुनाव को लड़ें. I wish you would fight this election. In this way, we shall use would as a modal verb. I hope you have understood the concept of would as a modal verb in different sentences. Dear students, we have discussed the uses of different modal verbs in sentences. Today, we are going to discuss the last two modal verbs, that is need and dare. What do you mean by need and what do you mean by dare? How are these two modals different from other modal verbs? Of course, they are different from other modal verbs because all the modal verbs except need and dare are used as modal verbs only. They are used to help the main verb in a sentence. But these two modal verbs, need and dare, are used in both cases. For example, they can be used as main verb in a sentence or as a modal verb in a sentence. Means they have dual use. इनको हम दो प्रकार से यूज कर सकते हैं. किसी सेंटेंस में ये फाइनाइट वर्ब के रूप में भी यूज हो सकती हैं और मॉडल वर्ब के रूप में भी यूज हो सकती हैं. तो हम कहां फाइनाइट वर्ब के रूप में इनका यूज करेंगे, कहां मेन वर्ब के रूप में, अर्थात केवल वर्ब का ही ये काम करे, ऑर्डिनरी वर्ब का काम करे. और कुछ ऐसे सेंटेंसेस होंगे जहां हम इसको मॉडल वर्ब या ऑक्सिलरी वर्ब के रूप में यूज करेंगे. हमें इसके डिफरेंस को समझना बहुत जरूरी है. जब तक हमें नीड और डेयर का ये डिफरेंस, ये डिफरेंट यूज समझ नहीं आएगा, हम इसको प्रॉपरली डिफरेंशिएट नहीं कर पाएंगे कि ये कहां ऑर्डिनरी वर्ब है और कहां पर मॉडल वर्ब है. आपको कंफ्यूज होने की जरूरत नहीं है. जब आप ये वीडियो पूरा देखेंगे तो इट विल बी वेरी मच क्लियर टू यू दैट वेयर इज इट यूज्ड एज एन ऑर्डिनरी वर्ब and where is it used as a modal verb. First of all, try to understand the difference between their use. When it is used as a main verb, it is usually used in affirmative sentences, statements. But when it is used as a modal verb, it is usually used either in negative sentences और इन इंटेरोगेटिव सेंटेंसेस. इसका मेन वर्ब के रूप में केवल स्टेटमेंट्स में यूज होता है और मॉडल वर्ब के रूप में इसका यूज नेगेटिव और इंटेरोगेटिव सेंटेंसेस में होता है। अगर नीड के साथ एस लगा हो, नीड प्लस एस मींस नीड्स, तो दैट इज a main verb, that is an ordinary verb. But if it is used as V1 in negative or interrogative sentences with bare infinitive with V1, then it is used as a modal verb. Let us take some examples. First of all, I am taking the examples of need as an ordinary verb. Read these three sentences. First, he needs my help. When need is used as a main verb, it means want, require. But when it is used as a modal verb, it means necessary. He needs my help means this need is V1 plus S is used here as a main verb. Means he requires my help. I don't need your help. I don't need your advice. Here, of course, this is a negative sentence, but need in this sentence is acting as an ordinary verb because do is acting as helping verb to this main verb need. I don't need your advice. She needs to work hard. Here also, need is acting as an ordinary verb. Here, need is used as main verb. And what does it mean? It means want, require, means जरूरत है उसे. But when need is used as a modal verb, first of all, it is used in negative and interrogative sentences only, not in affirmative sentences. Let us take some example. Need I wear a tie? If I say, need I wear a tie? It may have two answers. हाँ जरूरत है, दूसरा बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है. अगर इसका आंसर हो कि हाँ पहननी चाहिए, then someone can answer me, yes, you must. If there is no need, then its answer will be no, you needn't. Here it is used as a modal verb. Need I wear a tie? Because here the main verb is wear and need is acting as a modal verb. Next is you need not wear a tie. No, you need not wear a tie. Need I write to him? क्या मुझे उसको लेटर लिखने की जरूरत है? क्या मैं उसे लिखूं? No, you need not write to him, or yes, you must write to him. In this way, we can say that need is used here as a modal verb. Next is in perfect tenses, we use need not have. Take some examples. You needn't have bought such a costly car. Someone who is very poor, I met him and I found that he has a very costly car. I can say him, you can't afford it. You needn't have bought such a costly car. It is just the wastage of money. आपको इतनी महंगी कार खरीदने की जरूरत नहीं है. It is the wastage of money. And next, you needn't have written in more than 300 words. मान लीजिए हम किसी एग्जाम में, किसी पेपर में एक ऐसे लिखवाते हैं इन 300 वर्ड्स. उसने लिख दिया इसको 500 वर्ड्स में और उसकी वजह से उसके 3-4 क्वेश्चंस छूट गए. तो उसके बाद मैं उसको कह सकता हूं, एक एडवाइस दे सकता हूं कि you needn't have written in more than 300 words. It is the wastage of time. In this way, we use need as an ordinary verb and as a modal verb. I hope the difference between the use of ordinary verb and modal verb is clear to you. Now let us take the example of dare. Dare means हिम्मत करना, दुस्साहस करना, साहस करना. Dare is also used as a main verb and as a modal verb. Let us take some examples where it is used as a main verb. If it takes s after it, means dares, then it is a main verb. If it is used as to infinitive, then also it is used as a main verb. But when it is used as a bare infinitive, as a helping verb to the main verb, then it is used as a modal verb. This is the same case as the case of need. Now let us take some examples in which dare is used as an ordinary verb. He dares to oppose you. Dares. Here s has been used, means simple present tense. He dares to oppose you. This is to infinitive and this is acting as a main verb. He dares to oppose you. Do you dare to speak? Dare to speak. To infinitive, main verb. Do you dare to speak against him? I dare to go outside. I dare, subject, and this is main verb. I dare to go outside at night. In this way, we can use dare as an ordinary or a finite verb. फाइनाइट वर्ब के केस में सब्जेक्ट चेंज होने से या टेंस चेंज होने से इस मेन वर्ब की फॉर्म भी चेंज हो जाती है. जैसे यहां हमने एस लगा दिया, अगर टेंस चेंज करेंगे तो डेयर्ड भी हो सकता है, बट मॉडल वर्ब नेवर चेंजेस. कीप दिस डिफरेंस इन योर माइंड. द फॉर्म ऑफ डेयर never changes in modal verbs. Let us take its use as a modal verb. As need is used, dare is also used usually in negative or interrogative sentences. Let us take first example. He dare not oppose you. Dare not. Oppose. Oppose is the main verb here, and dare is used as a helping verb or a special verb or a modal verb. He dare not. अगर हम इसको टेंस में चेंज कर दें तो इसको हम मेन वर्ब बना सकते हैं. He does not dare to oppose you. But here I have used it as a modal verb. He dare not oppose you. I dare not go outside at night. मैं नहीं जा सकता, मेरी हिम्मत नहीं है रात को बाहर जाने की, डरता हूं, मीन्स आई डेयर नॉट गो आउटसाइड एट नाइट. डेयर शी से शो. उसकी हिम्मत कैसे हुई ऐसा कहने की? अच्छा, कैसे कहा उसने ऐसा कैसे कह दिया? एंड हाउ डेयर, दिस इज अ वेरी वेल नोन फ्रेज. हाउ डेयर यू. आपको इंडिया की फर्स्ट आईपीएस ऑफिसर डॉक्टर किरण बेदी की एक बुक का उल्लेख मैं यहां करना चाहूंगा. शी रॉट ए बुक एंड द नेम ऑफ द बुक इज आई डेयर. हां, मैंने हिम्मत की. इट्स हर बायोग्राफी, ऑटोबायोग्राफी. हाउ डेयर प्रेजेंट्स और एक्सप्रेसेस सरप्राइज, एंगर और शॉक. अगर हमें एंगर एक्सप्रेस करना हो, शॉक एक्सप्रेस करना हो या सरप्राइज एक्सप्रेस करना हो तो हम हाउ डियर इस फ्रेज का यूज करेंगे. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, हाउ डेयर यू अब्यूज मी. किसी ने आपको अब्यूज किया, यू कैन से हाउ डेयर यू अब्यूज मी. आपकी हिम्मत कैसे हुई मुझे गाली देने की. हाउ डेयर यू लीव विदाउट परमिशन. एक सर्वेंट या एक एम्प्लॉई विदाउट परमिशन ऑफ द बॉस ही लीव्स द ऑफिस. And when he comes back, the boss asks for the explanation and he says, how dare you leave the office without my permission? And one more word is there, dare say. Dare say, this is another word. It has no relation with dare. Dare say is a single word which means perhaps. For example, I dare say it will rain. मैं कह सकता हूं perhaps it will rain. There are clouds in the sky. I dare say it will rain. This is the use of dare as an ordinary verb and as a modal verb. Now we have discussed the uses of need and dare as modal verbs. I hope you have understood the concept of modal verbs, all the modal verbs including dare and need.